What up, though? Welcome to the Invasion Nation podcast. It's your boy T-Word, the People's Champ, with my co-host Shon Scott, Jamie D Farley, and my boy John Gotti. We back in this thing, episode 4. What's good, people?
What's good? What's good?
Hey, y'all.
What's up, everybody?
And
What's going on?
We have two special guests on the line. They're Falcons fans because we got to get to the bottom of this preseason real quick. We have Kelvin Cooley on the line and Darrius Lee. They are Falcons fans, and we're about to get the inside scoop on 0-4 and what went wrong and what the season outlook is for the Falcons. There's some genuine concern in the South for this team, so we're about to figure out what it is. So I'm going to start with our resident Falcon fan, our ladybird, Miss Shon Scott. So, Shon, the preseason is over, and I know in the previous episodes you expressed some concerns about your team. So where do we start? What does 0-4 mean for you in terms of preseason? Did we lose Shon?
No, it went out for a second.
All right, ready to rock. So what do you think about the 0-4? What does that mean?
What does what mean?
0-4 start to the 0-4 in the preseason. What does that mean heading into regular season 2018 for the Falcons?
You can't put a lot of stock in that. I mean, like most of those people who played we didn't start most of our starters in any of the preseason games we played. The last preseason game was obviously all people trying to make a roster spot, but I mean, you can't take anything from 0-4 in the preseason. This is the second year in a row that we've done that.
Okay, I could dig it. So basically, you're saying it's nothing, and it's time for real football.
Basically, you can't conclude anything from the preseason when you don't have your starters in.
That's a very valid point. Now, Darrius, I'm gonna throw it to you, brother. Welcome to the show, first off, and secondly, what does that 0-4 mean to you, and what type of outlook do you have based on what you saw in the preseason heading into the regular season?
Well, first of all, thanks for 0-4 in the preseason. To me, you can't, like Shon said, you can't really put too much stock in it because there's a lot of guys fighting for a roster spot. Mm-hmm. Your starters will get maybe 1-2 series at the most. And most of your key players, i.e. Devontae Freeman and Julio Jones, didn't even touch the field. So it's hard to gauge what preseason really means when, your gun isn't fully loaded. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's true. You really can't gauge what type of damage you can do. And that's going to lead to another question about Sark, but I want to get to Kelvin first before we get into what the offense is going to look like and maybe even what the defense look like, because I have a question about depth, and I'm probably going to get Jamie to maybe get into the second phase of this. But before that, Kelvin, 0-4, what does it mean?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna save my comments for Sark to your next segment. But 0-4, I will agree that it's not that concerning because one of the things that you do in preseason, you don't want to show your hand, right? So even on the offense, some of the plays are probably not being called because you don't want people to learn how to defend against them until you get into the regular season. Mm-hmm. So I will say the fact that 0-4 in the preseason is not concerning.
Okay, and I mean, I didn't realize, I don't know if I just forgot or wasn't paying attention that you guys did go 0-4 last preseason and then came back with a 10-6 season. So again, it's really hard to put stock in something when you've been there before and you've actually come out and performed fairly well. So offensive coordinator was kind of a issue. It went from Shanahan, which was a record-setting type offense, to Sark, who feels like there was a hole in the bottom of the boat at times. It just felt like he was always behind in the game. So starting with you, Kelvin, we're going to go there. And then, Jamie, I think you had some questions about the Falcons too, right?
Yes,
okay.
I did.
All right, so Kelvin, give me your Sark comments, and then we're going to get into what Jamie got.
Okay, I'm going to say, first of all, there was no conduct. There was. Sarkisian is horrible. Some of the play calling, you're right, not only behind, his scheme was just, it's amateurish, right? And everybody keeps assuming that this one year we're going to have a bad year and then a good year like Kyle Shanahan. But what people need to remember is that Kyle Shanahan's scheme was very complex. A lot of people weren't able to perform because they weren't comfortable in the scheme because it took them 2 years to learn it. Whereas Sarkisian's was simple. He was calling the wrong play calls, too much college football stuff, calling versus on the goal line. On a game-winning drive, on a game-winning play, you're going to take away half the field. Mm-hmm. Of your own offense and make it that much easier for your defense to contend. Or, third and third and 3, you're throwing a bomb, and then third and 20, you're throwing a screen. You know, these are just like, to me, it's like amateur hour. So my concerns are very, very valid about Steve Sarkisian, and I just honestly don't think he's a good coordinator, and I think we're going to struggle in the offensive realm again. The only thing that's keeping us up, just like this year, was our defense.
Yeah, and that defense is young and looks hungry, and at least the front seven, in my opinion, is getting to a point where they're going to be, top 10 in the league. I think the back end still needs some tweaking, but the front end definitely is a dangerous group. So, Jamie, throwing it to you, what you got?
Looking at preseason game 4, I thought that Malik Williams had a good game, but I was reading that he had a shoulder injury. Is there any updates about him that I may have missed? And how do y'all feel about him?
What position is Malik Williams? Now I'm interested.
I think go ahead,
He's a
Shon.
running back.
Running back.
Yeah.
Is that number 41?
I don't know if he's 41.
Okay, I know I was watching the game. I think this morning I caught the second half because that's when they replayed on NFL Network. And apparently he was running pretty good. Whoever number 41 was, I was impressed with him. So now this is Malik Williams wears like 33 or something like that, 35.
Right.
Okay. This is a different back. All right. So and there was an injury to him.
Yeah, it looked like I read he had a shoulder injury. So I was just curious of how the Falcons felt about him.
Well, I'm not sure he is going to make the team. I don't have an injury update on him.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. Right now, he's fighting for a roster spot. I mean, being that we still got our guys, I'm not that concerned about a guy or potential practice squad just yet.
Yeah.
I believe because the Bleacher Report came out this morning, they showed all the players that got cut, and I believe he was on that list. But the Falcons usually don't keep more than 3 running backs on their active roster anyway. So he's probably going to be going for practice squad or being cut altogether.
Yeah, and he's a rookie, right? He's a rookie young player?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's practice squad. They got to cut him and then sign him back. Yeah, and I saw that, early today, I think the Falcons were one of the earliest teams to get under 54 to get down to 53. There was an announcement, I think, on the Falcons' Twitter said, we have our final 52, and it was one of the first teams to get there. But I think the influx of rookies was a lot of impact on why that was done so quickly. So Gotti, do you have any Falcons-related questions, some info that maybe we should be trying to collect here?
All I got to say about it is I know they say don't put too much stock into what you see in the preseason, but the only thing with my team personally, we like for instance last year we had a problem. We drove down the field on everybody, all our starters. We drove down the field, pretty much did what we wanted on offense, and got in the red zone and ended up going for field goals all the time. We had bad red zone efficiency, and we thought, like as a fan base, we thought maybe they weren't opening up the playbook, or they just weren't. You know what I'm saying? We weren't trying to show too much. They just weren't putting much effort, and come out into the season and ended up having one of the worst red zone efficiencies during the season too. So sometimes it is letting you know what's becoming, but not all the time. So you gotta sometimes pay attention to what's going on in the preseason.
I agree with that 100%. So now I'm gonna lead with you on this one, Darrius. I want to talk about what I thought was the biggest issue for Atlanta. Shauna shared with us that you guys had the league lead in rookies on the team. That's draft picks and UDFAs or whatever. So depth seems to be the biggest concern, because when you put your threes against their threes and your fours against their fours and so on and so forth, you start to figure out what the guys behind your main guys look like. And to me, it looks like there's a little bit of trouble in paradise with the depth. So starting with you, Darrius, what do you think about your depth now that you've whittled that roster down? Do you feel you guys go 2 or 3 deep at some key positions, or what will be a concern that we should be on the look for?
Well, I feel we can go at least 2 deep at every position. Now, when you start getting into the threes, you might be getting a little iffy because, like you said, based on what you've seen in preseason, it hasn't looked too good. I think we as Falcons fans, we've been blessed to not have any, major injuries to any of our key starters or, second tier players, what have you. But once it gets past that second wave of guys, then you might start thinking about restructuring the whole game plan.
I see. Yeah, and I think that's something that you have to look at because the season is long. You're talking 16 games, and if you make the playoffs, at least one, so 17 games if you're lucky. And you need to have guys that can step in, especially at different times in the season. Now, for me, and this one I'm gonna throw at you, Kelvin. So I feel like in the secondary, there's no depth after True, after Alfred, after Allen, and Neal, you've got Casey, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. What is there behind that to look for? And then you got Jordan Richards, who was just traded for. What?
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was just going to bring it up. Yeah, he was just traded. But you're absolutely right. Behind that, we don't have any real depth in the secondary.
Wow. So one injury away from being kind of a sieve at the back end.
Yep. That is something we definitely have to work on. And I mean, honestly, like, again, to me, that safety spot, the free safety position, is just, to me, it's not solidified in the first place anyway, because Ricardo Allen is kind of, he's kind of mediocre anyway. So,
strong words.
I think we're struggling that. Now, in my opinion, I don't know why probably money reasons, but they should have gave up whatever it took without breaking on the secondary to get Earl Thomas back there.
Ooh, yeah, that would have been rock solid. And I think he just wants out of Seattle. So if they were willing to trade, I think, y'all could have got him for a bag of chips and the cold soda. So
I think so too. And never the fact that Dan Quinn was his coach. I mean, but this goes in, not to, but this also goes into Dimitrov, right? That he just.
Oh, amen.
This goes into him. We thought when Rich McKay was brought back down to mentor him, that it would get better. But this is kind of a management issue, and this is where we drive into a lot of these issues that we have with player personnel. Like the Falcons, we are never really that deep. We're starting to get deeper in the receiver part, but
definitely,
when you look at it, like another concerning part is actually Alex Mack. Now, Alex Mack is great. He is wonderful, right? Mm-hmm. I believe we drafted a rookie. So I'm trying to figure out, but what happens in that center part when it goes down? Because that was also the biggest struggles of our offensive line until we got Alex Mack.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that because I know. And
I just wanted to add one more thing to that, if I can. I mean,
go ahead.
Biggest I say is, the reason probably we don't have as much depth is because of all the money we put into our current players, or we are going to have to put into our current players, because after this year, a lot of our key defensive players' contracts are coming up, i.e. Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones. So we can't, and one of the big things we've been looking at is, we can't pay everybody. So
that's true.
Somebody may have to be let go, Devondre Campbell, somebody like that, in order for us to stay where we're at defensively.
Right.
And the way we've been drafting,
go ahead.
The way we've been drafting is, is like, they have the potential. The potential is there. They're talented and everything like that. But it's just, they have to learn the scheme, and that's going to take time.
That's very true. I do agree that you have a lot of young talent that's about to get paid, and you guys are kind of top heavy, and your top players are taking up a large part of your salary cap, which when this next group, the people that are making the team better, especially defensively, them boys going to want a bag in a minute. You got a couple board dogs, Vic Beasley, Deion Jones are people I really respect as players, and I know that they command a salary. A middle linebacker that can really quarterback the defense and is a playmaker is rare. You look at Kuechly, you look at Bobby Wagner. Those are rare players in this day and age. So they're going to get the bag, and people are going to pay them more to get them. And then you get an elite pass rusher like Beasley, that's going to create a problem. So, Jamie, do you have any more Falcon questions before we kind of move into some other topics?
I think I'm good with the Falcons. I think they pretty much answered and covered everything.
Gotti, you got anything?
No, it's all good on this end, man. They got it.
Okay, so before we get our guest out of here and move into the second phase of the show, I want to put you guys on the spot. And first thing I want to do is ask, let me see. I'm just going to ask you to predict your team's finish based on what you see right now. Where do you predict the Falcons to finish? Darrius, starting with you. Give me a roundabout record. You could give me a high on wins and a low on wins. You don't have to give me nothing specific. And then also what place in the South you predict for your team. Go ahead.
That's oh man. Okay. I think I like to jump at this. I mean, I am concerned about. I'm really concerned about the South, so I can't really call us winning it. But I'm gonna probably go with I'm gonna go with the 9-7 or 10-6.
Okay, I think that's reasonable and fair. To be honest, I think that's very reasonable and fair.
When you turn around, you look at New Orleans. New Orleans, as much as I hate y'all, are always a threat. And now a lot of those young boys still with Drew Brees, they're getting better and better.
Right.
You know, you saw where they were last year, and you also look at the Panthers with them hiring Norv Turner, who's an offensive guru.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you predict y'all being maybe third in our division?
I could probably say I wouldn't say third. I mean, it's a possibility, but I could go for a strong second. I would love for us to win it, but I don't know, especially with Sark's play calling and what he does. I
would have concerns with Sark too. Just real talk. I really feel like that dude don't know what the hell he doing. Sometimes.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He stays behind the plays. Go ahead, Sean.
I don't feel like his play calling is that detrimental to the point where we would finish below second. Maybe that's arrogant. I'll take my trial by fire. I do think we can win this division. So,
I'm gonna hold you to that. No, ma'am.
Okay, 12-4,
12.
5.
I hope you were right.
That's your
Let's
city.
put it that way.
I
Darrius.
totally agree with Sean. With all the pieces that we have on offense, our defense is coming back stronger than ever. Sark's play calling can't be that bad, especially since he has Greg Knapp to kind of,
exactly.
show him the ropes. It can't be no worse than 12-4, 11-5. Now, as far as the division goes, any team that wins the division is going to have to start sweeping teams. It can't be like you win one at home, you win one and you lose one on the road. Like whoever wins the division is going to have to go at least 4-2, 5-1. So with that being said, I'm pushing all my chips into the table. You know what I'm saying? 12-4, 11-5. New Orleans coming in at a strong second. It may have to come down to that Thanksgiving game between us and them to determine who was actually going to win. And I'll just leave it at that.
I see. Okay. So optimism. In spite of the troubles in the preseason, the Falcons faithful are optimistic that it means nothing and the season is yet to come. So I can respect that, though. You got to believe in your squad first. Squad. So I respect that, and that ain't fandom. That's real talk. Y'all have given great reasons. So we appreciate you guys for joining us. Kelvin, Darrius, thank you so much. You guys are welcome back at any time, especially during Hate Week. I might have to do bang double episodes. So we're about to take a quick commercial break to recognize our sponsor here on the Invasion Nation podcast. Y'all keep it locked. We'll be right back after the break. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Invasion Nation podcast. Hope you enjoyed that quick little commercial break from our sponsor. And don't forget the Tees Corner brand. It's your boy T-Word, the People's Champ. Tees Corner, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Central Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Tune in, listen to me. I talk all that good stuff with my co-hosts. We got sports, life, everything. But anyway, we back to this. This is the Invasion Nation podcast representing the NFC South. We've already talked to the Falcons. We figured out what's going on with them. They say they ain't worried about nothing. Now we about to switch to them Bucks. Last week we was a Bucks short, but now we got Mr. Buccaneer himself, John Gotti. What up? What's good for the Bucks throughout this preseason, bro?
What's good, man? Yeah, like you said, we ain't the Bucks short now. We got all the money here today.
Yeah, we got all the money. Is it quiet money or loud money? We got change or dollars?
We got it all. Okay,
already.
So y'all 2-2. Our starters, I'm gonna say, as far as the offense looked good. They look crisp. They look pretty much ready to go toe to toe with any top tier defense out there right now. They looked good. Jameis looked good. Y'all already know that. Everybody, as far as the quarterbacks, y'all saw that they all looked pretty good, except for the Austin Allen kid. But he's already he already made the cuts, so he He's good. He'll probably be backing up Cam or something by the middle of the season. But my only concerns as far as from what I've been seeing, I know we got a few starting linemen kind of nicked up, so hopefully they'll be ready to go for next week, T.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because we gonna need to be at full strength, man, especially
Absolutely.
with the situation with Jameis and stuff. But on the defensive side though, everybody all the starters, they looked pretty good. I see Will Golston got himself a sack. He's not usually known for that. He's more of a run stopper, but he got himself a sack, so
Nice.
maybe he's ready to start actually rushing the QB this year. JPP looked good. He looked good as advertised. So, I mean, I know it's just a preseason, but he looks like he's ready to still be the same guy.
That's good.
With 3 fingers.
Go ahead, Sean.
What you say, Sean?
I'm just glad with 3 fingers.
Oh yeah. But I mean, y'all already knew that though. He's been after y'all quarterbacks with those 3 fingers for a while now.
Yeah, that's true.
The club gonna come through. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
So,
Ain't no
The
more
club,
making.
that's what we calling him.
I mean, you seen his hand on game day? Well, he got like the glove thing, but it looked like a club when he rushing the passer.
Oh, wow.
Hey, that's all good though. He can be that though, because I mean, we know that's not deterring him at all though.
Nah,
we
not at
already
all.
know that. We already know that's not holding him back. He's still one of the most scariest guys on our defense right now with 3 fingers.
He definitely an athletic freak, that's for sure, and hasn't lost a
As long
step.
as you keep him away from the fireworks.
For real. He
Hey,
the
at
best thing
once
smoking besides the fourth.
When we win the Super Bowl, he can blow the rest of them off for all I care.
Golly, man.
He could blow the rest of them off for all I care. He take us to the Super Bowl.
Wow. So
No, but that's
Speaking-
my man's though. That's my man's though. I like him, man. I hope he does everything he came over here to do, man. I hope he shows out for us.
So speaking of the D line, Vita, what's the scoop? What's the story? He was injured early in the preseason, right? Or was that in camp?
Yes, I guess when he did catch the injury, I guess I don't know, being the number 1 pick, I know you want to get him out there and stuff like that and see what he's got, but I guess they immediately took a lot of precaution with him or whatever. But from what I've heard, I haven't heard any stories about him not being available week 1. So, I mean, as far as I know, the Saints offensive line they'll get to meet him week 1.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, he get to run into that wall. We looking solid up front. Everybody back except Andrews Pete. Man, I'm cool with it. So I guess we'll actually have another show before basically week 1. The only team we won't get to preview, I guess, more or less, is the Falcons. So we'll save next week and get that hate week popping and get an extra buck on here. Maybe we'll have you and JB. So other things I'm concerned with the Bucs offensively is the run game. So you got Rojo and you got Peyton Barber. What do you know based on the results of preseason?
Well, yeah, Rojo, based on preseason alone, he's definitely he hasn't been what we expected him to be, or he hasn't showed us what we thought that he had. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, pretty much not at all. Like, he hasn't done much at all. So right now it's obvious Barber is a lock for the starting job as far as the running back, and he can get it done. I won't even go as far to say 1K for him, but I say I could take it to the bank. He's an 800, 900 yard guy.
Man, that's solid.
Especially being that he's still gonna end up sharing the load with Jones. Jones is probably gonna have to come along as the season progresses, man. Or I mean, who is to say he doesn't have his breakout game week 1? We don't know, but he's definitely gonna get some real touches in a real game to really show us what he's got.
To be honest, that's what it's going to require week 1 for you guys to be successful. It's going to be, if you're a threat in the run game, and we do have a couple issues along the defensive line facing the run, that's going to open up passing for Fitz. Because if it's where the Saints are able to slow down your run game and make it almost non-existent, and Fitz has to beat the team with his arm, I just don't trust it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with your running game, not just in week 1, but in the first 3 games of the season where you've got fairly decent defenses on the schedule. So I think Jamie has some Bucs questions to throw out there too, right?
I do. As a Bucs fan, John, is there a legitimate concern about Winston returning in week 4?
Okay, with Winston, he's got a good chance of I mean, more than likely he's gonna be there. But I did read up on some stuff saying that we're gonna be on a short week, and we play the Bears. It's gonna be a short week, and usually on a short week you want to kind of have all your guys already in down pack with what's going on and stuff like that. So it's more than likely gonna be the I guess depending on, I guess you could say that just the, if you want me to lean towards him not playing, the only way he would not be playing would be if maybe Fitz is doing pretty good and Cutter just decides he doesn't want to throw Winston right in a short week like that, right, and just give him one more week just for strictly rest. It wouldn't have anything to do with them not wanting him or anything like that. But that's pretty much the only situation I can see him not playing. But if other than that, I mean, especially if Fitz does bad, he just, I mean, 2 interceptions per game or something, just has a horrible first 3 games. Winston's he's getting in there regardless. They're gonna throw him in there no matter what. Short week, long week, or whatever.
So Gotti, you believe that regardless of how things turn out by week 4, definitely in week 5 he will be returning to the starting quarterback position.
Oh yeah, in my mind that's definitely a lock. Yeah, in my mind that's definitely a lock. He will be the starter week 5.
I see. Now, do you think they might reconsider holding him out now that Khalil Mack is headed to the Bears? Do you really want Jameis facing that dude in his first game back? Do you think that might have any impact, especially with the short week?
To be honest, as a fan, man, me personally, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I want him to play against the Bears, and kind of even more just for that reason. At first, it was kind of because he kind of always has his way with the Bears, but now with Khalil Mack coming over there, like me personally, I'm not scared of my quarterback. I'm not scared for my quarterback against elite defensive ends and stuff like that, because I believe like he's enough confident in himself to not really be afraid of those guys. You know what I'm saying? He'll try to break a tackle off him. Jameis could stay up for a while if you let him or whatever. He's not really afraid of none of those guys. That's why I say that. Like I want him to play.
I dig it. You want your best to beat their best. I can feel that. So correct. quick update I want to throw in real quick while we were talking about the Bears. Let's go ahead and get these trade details out. Most people have it, but I want to make sure it's on the show. So here's what the trade looks like. The Bears are going to get Khalil Mack, a 2020 second round pick, and a conditional 2020 fifth round pick. The Raiders, on the other hand, are going to get a 2019 first round pick, a 2020 first round pick, a 2020 third, and a 2019 sixth. So they're going to get 2 first-round picks for Khalil Mack. This is a defensive player getting 2 consecutive first-round picks. And you know that the Raiders now are probably going to finish at the top. So that means, the Bears are probably going to finish in the middle. So that means they're going to be drafting twice. They're probably going to pick in the top 5, the Raiders will, with their regular pick. But then they're also going to get those other picks that are going to put them probably in the top 15 where the Bears are going to finish. That's a lot of early picks, a lot of capital for the Raiders. Any thoughts before we move on?
Not on that. I wanted to go back and ask Gotti about the offensive line. You said you guys were nicked up on the offensive line. Do you have any concerns about that going into that first game against the Saints?
I don't have any concerns that none of the starters are going to be playing, but just maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe them not being 100, like 90% or something like that. I don't know personally, but I just know they are nicked up. So when week 1 comes, they'll be playing. Just don't, they could probably not be 100% and could affect their game or something like that. But everybody will be playing.
Okay.
I'm going to back off of Shon and ask you, Gotti, how comfortable are you with your backup? Y'all's first 3 games, you got Breeze, Big Ben, and Nick Foles. How comfortable are you with Fitz matching up to them?
Fitz is he's a real good backup, but he's a backup for a reason, because he doesn't. I guess right now at this point in his career, he doesn't always have the consistency, but he can light it up for a game or two. Like he definitely can do that. Like everybody out there knows he could light it up for a game or two, and that's pretty much what we rolling the dice on as fans, man, for him to just light it up and have his best at least 2 out of 3 games. If he could pull us 2 games, I think if Fitz goes 2-3, this is a hot take right here, but if Fitz goes 2-3, y'all can lock us in for the playoffs. I'm gonna call.
All right now.
I'm gonna call that right. Yeah, I said that.
Right now.
I said that. If Fitz can win 2 out of those 3 games, and when Jameis gets back, y'all, he's already got a bone to pick with all y'all. So y'all can lock us in for the playoffs. If Fitz can get Jameis with a winning 2-1 record, y'all can lock us in for the playoffs.
Well, Philly and Pittsburgh gonna know this then, and they look kind of shaky in the preseason anyway. So there you go. There's your 2. Because week 1, that's a L for y'all, man.
Hey man, we
we
gonna save some. We gonna save some of what I want to say for that time
for next
man.
week. All right, that's for
coming.
sure. That's for sure. I just wanted to put that out there right now. So let's.
I mean, y'all the first ones, so I mean, y'all gonna get most of the. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get most of the. Y'all get most of the fight.
That's all good. We ready for it. It's in our house. It's in our house. So let's go ahead and shift over to the Carolina Panthers and jump in and get with Jamie. So what's good with it, Jamie? How do you feel about your preseason? You guys finished 3-1, and I think you won them all except that very last one when you really were looking at the deep depths of your roster. How do you feel about the preseason as a whole?
I thought preseason we did all right. The last game, none of our starters played, so I really didn't have much expectations about that game. But I do think that, we did pretty well preseason.
Okay, so was there anything that stood out to you about the preseason? Anything that maybe a non-Panthers fan might should pay attention to, especially division rival? I'm nosy. I want to know what's going on, so I'm getting all in y'all damn business. What's to come? Heading, what did you collect information-wise that lets you know that it's going to be okay this season?
I liked the way Kuechly looked. I liked the way McCaffrey looked. Once Thomas Davis gets back after his suspension, I'm excited about him coming back. So I don't think that, it's not going to be a surprise. I think, with Norv Turner coming in and changing up some things, I'm comfortable there. So I don't think that it's going to be a surprise. I just think that, we look good. And so I think that our team is going to come to play and going to come short. And the doubters are going to have their doubts, but I think everybody know what time it is for Carolina.
Oh, everybody know what time it is?
Yeah, y'all don't know what time it is.
Yeah, we know what time it is.
Don't start, Gotti. Don't start.
What
for a losing season. That's what history says.
Well, I tell you, y'all got to worry about Winston and Shon. Don't you come over here with that. Y'all didn't show out in preseason. Carolina is coming.
We didn't do it last year.
But y'all got your and you heard the guy say Sark wasn't calling them plays right.
Right.
So,
I'm good with him. I think he'll get us a good 10, 11.
Oh, Sean. Sean got a lot of faith in Sark. I know she likes Sark.
That is a lot of optimism.
I don't like that guy, but I know that he has enough talent on that roster for us not to be giving him a pass.
I know for a fact that Sark is not the answer, but I appreciate your optimism for your team. You got to be a fan first, and you got to root for the one that you love, and you love them Birds. But
that's not optimism, T.
You are very optimistic about a roster that lacks depth and an offensive coordinator. I what?
Nothing T worse than you don't have. But that's all in the doghouse.
The team lacks depth, and you have an offensive coordinator that don't know what the hell he doing. I'm just keeping it real.
Y'all lack depth at the quarterback position.
We don't need it.
If Drew Brees goes down, you're going to need more than a prayer.
We got Teddy Bridgewater. We straight now. As a backup, we straight.
Teddy Bridgewater, who don't tore his knee up how many times?
Just once. So, but it's not the same segment. So I don't want
MCL.
I don't want to distract from the Panthers'
Thank y'all.
outlook. So I'm going to circle back because we got the same segment. Don't worry about that.
Well, I just do want to jump in and say I'm really excited about what Norv Turner is bringing to the Panthers. I think that was a huge concern for us. So
can he make Cam more accurate though?
I think I believe so.
I
think he definitely gonna work with Cam.
I'm just asking because I'm curious. Because
that's kind of a shade question, but I called it.
It's a shot.
So
yes, this definitely.
If your quarterback averaged like 52%, 54% accuracy over his career, is that not a genuine concern changing offenses?
It's a concern. I can't lie and say that it's not, but I do feel like, that's when Norv is definitely going to come in and help Cam to get that ball out of his hand much quicker and help with consistency.
So Cam Newton is going to be more consistent. Now, do you think that this switch to Norv Turner, one of the strong suits of Cam's game and what makes him so dangerous when he's facing most defenses is the fact that he's probably going to take off and run after his first or second read. Because he's changing offenses, do you think that he's going to stand in the pocket and try to pass it more? Or
I definitely think he's going to stand in the pocket and try to pass it more. I think that's where Norv Turner is going to come in and change things.
But that makes him less effective, don't you think?
No. I think that I think he knows where he needs working. And I think that's what, like I said, I think that's where Norv is going to come in at. But I do think that when Cam feels like it's time for him to run, he's going to take off. But I think that's where they're definitely working with him is, definitely staying in the pocket and throwing.
I mean, he's staying in the pocket. I just think if you take away the run threat, there's got to be some RPO, some run pass option in the offensive scheme. So I'm wondering how much modification Norv Turner did to make Cam be able to do what he needs to do. So
I think it's going to be more balance. I think you'll see more balance with him.
More balance. Okay. I could dig it.
I don't know that Norv Turner is going to be capable of turning him into a solid pocket passer.
I wouldn't go that far either, but I do think that he's going to work with him on definitely not running as much.
Right.
Okay, so he's going to tone it down. I just think you really can't take him away too much. Yeah, you really can't take him away too much simply because it's one of the things that makes him most dangerous is that he could take off.
I absolutely agree. I do think that they're going to, like I said, I think they're going to work with him on toning it down. But like I said, you can't change Cam. When Cam feel like it's time for him to run, he's going to take off.
That's true. It's like Mariota. They're going to run when they feel like running. So I think for the time being, we can kind of close on the Panthers right there. I feel like we covered what was going on. They had a pretty successful preseason. Not a lot to look at. They look pretty deep as well. So now let's go ahead and quickly switch over and talk about these New Orleans Saints. Y'all know I keep it short and sweet. I get to the point. Nothing but bullets and slugs. So first things first. Who want to shoot first? I'm just saying.
I do. Everybody want to shoot at the champ. Okay. I was curious to how you felt about having him. Are you excited about having him as the backup? Do you feel like it was a good trade for the Saints?
Okay, so I'll start there. First, we went 3-1 in the preseason. I'm comfortable with what that was, but it means nothing to me. We did look pretty deep. I like the enthusiasm and the activity of the depth players, and I think that we've cut a lot of guys today that's going to start in some other cities or definitely be number twos, ready to be number one somewhere else. Now, that being said, Teddy Bridgewater joining the team for the price that we gave, and we got an extra pick in that trade too. I think he's going to be fine. We expect him not to have to play for 2 years. So, in my opinion, getting a guy that's going to kind of secure your future, and if Drew Brees has any reason to be out for whatever reason, I feel like we have a guy who could step in, and if he has to sit in for like maybe 4 games, I'm comfortable with him getting us to 2-2. Like, I'm not worried about him beating the world. People think we got Bridgewater and we expect him to win us a championship. No, we just want to know that if that guy got to come in and play a series or play a couple weeks, can he at least split with you? If you play 2 games, can you win 1 of 2? That's all we need from you. We're not expecting Drew Brees a second coming.
Okay, but Ben T, what if those two games are like crucial games, like a division game? Like, can you really?
I can answer that. So I'm gonna answer it with the question, and I know people hate when you do that, but I'm gonna say this: do you expect your number 2 to be as good as your number 1 when you're talking about a quarterback? I don't think you do. So if your quarterback is in a position where he can't play, and it don't matter if it's the division games or if it's some out the conference games, whenever you need that guy to step in, you just need him to give you his best. If he was good enough to be your starter, he would be your starter. So you can't expect that type of performance from him.
True.
Well, T, I got with all that being said, are you because it sounds like you're saying this, so this is just a question. Are you saying we're not looking at the future quarterback for the Saints?
I haven't seen enough from Bridgewater since injury to say he could possibly be, but I need to see him next preseason in Sean Payton's system and throwing that ball in preseason next year to know for sure. If we could keep him for next year because he's on a 1-year deal, I need to see him play within the scheme that Breeze runs. If I see him making the right reads, if I see him getting the right players involved, then I might say, yeah, we're going to keep him and he's going to be the future. But right now, it has yet to be seen. I think he's a good backup. I think he's going to do what we need him to do this year. Hold the clipboard and do high fives with Drew Brees when he's throwing touchdowns. That's what our backups do well.
I heard that.
So, I don't know. What do we have any other Saints related questions before I just get my little 2 cents on the preseason?
So what do you? I got one. What do you think about? What do you think about like Davenport? Do you think he's going to be what y'all expect him to be? What could you give me a estimate on sacks, or how do you think his season's going to be?
I can't give a sack estimate because I don't know if they're going to play him like situationally or if they're going to try to make him an every down player. But I can say if he's an every down guy, he's going to be a run liability, but he can get you somewhere between 8 to 10 sacks because I watched him bend the corner in the preseason. He got active hands. He can hand fight. He got good footwork, and he can bend. He's a 6'7" guy, but he could get around the edge and do damage. But that was against somebody's sub, so I can't put a lot of stock in it. I say he's got a lot of potential, but I'm not expecting a lot from him this year.
And what do you say? What do you say about Lattimore? You think he gets his? I hope for it. You think he gets his welcome to the NFL this season?
Nah.
A few burnt toast sandwiches or something like that.
Nah, the Saints are smart. They protect Lattimore. There's certain situations where they don't put him out there one-on-one in situations to set him up to fail. If you watch last year, he didn't always travel with the number one receiver. Take a case in point, Julio Jones. Julio lines up all over the field. If you really want a head-to-head matchup, you're going to put Lattimore directly on Julio. Julio go in the slot, Lattimore stay outside. Julio go left or right on the outside, then they will put him out there. Lattimore's a better outside corner. His slot skills are limited. So they're going to protect him. Also, when he first met Julio, they rolled extra coverage. They rolled the safety his way a lot to help him out like a bracket. So while he's getting one-on-one snaps, you still have a safety valve behind it. So I don't know that he'll get that welcome to the NFL toast moment, but he definitely need to stop holding people because he grab a lot of ass for a cornerback that's supposed to be locked down. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I heard that.
Y'all want the real talk, right? So I feel like
what happened? What I missed?
Not much. We just talk about Lattimore holding people and need to get his mind right and play a little bit better footwork. So I feel like we covered the Saints pretty good. We got all the teams. So we're about to go ahead and wrap. We're getting a little long, so I want to get everybody out of here. So before we go, Shon Scott, any parting shots? Any members you want to shout out?
Dang, I didn't even think about who would be the Falcon of the week or whatever. But all of y'all, really.
Hey, Ernest been making some noise this week.
Who?
Ernest.
Oh yeah, Ernest is always in there giving people hell. That's his job.
No doubt. I got to give him credit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shout him out too because he tagged me in some stuff that was funny.
I apologize, but I think everybody does what we always do: run invasion.
Stop it.
Okay, with y'all. Listen, so JB,
I like to shout out James A. Haynes, who always keeping me updated and making sure I'm straight. Also, I want to give a hater shout out to Mr. T.C. Edwards, who said he was coming for me on the podcast. I want to let him know I'm ready. That's going to be all for me.
John Gotti, who you got?
Man, I want to shout out to my boy JB, man. I wish he was here with me, dog, but you know, they don't want both of us on here at the same time, man. They try
man, cut it out. JB, where you at?
Hey, y'all
we like
next
two
week.
Kids that stay in detention, man. We always got to be separated and all that stuff. We know how they trying to do us.
We can't even find JB.
But shout out to JB, man. Shout out TK. Shout out Ernest. Shout out Rob.
Buck Britt.
Special shout out to Joey Carlisle, the Falcon. Fuck you. I don't know if they're gonna edit that out, but I need him to hear that because he been getting on my boys a lot lately, man. In the group, I've been seeing him. He had a few shots at Winston earlier and stuff. But shout out to all my Bucks.
Joey came back. Joey came back with bullets this morning.
Yeah, he was quiet for a little bit, but I see he's getting back in the form. He's starting to realize football getting close. It's real football.
Yeah.
So he's definitely acting like it. So I gotta let them know I seen some of them shots, man.
Hey, the fire came.
They was hurt. They was hard.
Hey, the fire came strong this week. I ain't gonna lie, man. It was a great last week of the preseason because it could have been dead, but group been popping. So shout out to NFC South Invasion members for bringing it back. I see the numbers are growing as we get closer to the season. So thank y'all for supporting not only the group but the podcast. For me, handful of Saints I want to shout out. It's the usual suspects. We roll deep like that. So I got to give it up to TK, Theory, Nike Walker, Lauren is in there. Let me see, who else do we have? A couple of new folk, and I'm sorry, I'm just getting familiar with y'all. We got the Trent cat. Who's the little young cat that was diving off the cliff yesterday in group? What was his name?
Taj. What's up, Taj?
Okay,
Yeah,
Taj.
that's
okay,
boy.
Taj. Hey, I gotta give him credit. That boy let them nuts hang. I'm talking about straight off the porch. And then I can't forget. Like I said, I can't forget my peoples. I gotta shout them out. Shon Scott. Hey, shout out to bro. He been coming with the real.
Yeah, shout out Shon, man. Shout out Shon. I fuck with Shon. That's
Hey,
cool.
crack baby.
That man is a hater for real.
For
That's
real.
crack baby.
So
No, not a
Stay in your
crack.
place, Sean.
Hey,
Stay in your
I
place.
second that.
on that note, we gotta close out. Shout out to everybody that support the show. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for listening. We'll be back next week with that NFC South Sports
Carolina
Blitz.
Nation, baby.
Man,
Thank
it's a
y'all.
Bucks life, man. Y'all know what it is.
Hey, we out of here. Who that?